How's it going, gamers? Welcome to the Flag Wars experience, part 2. This video is the sequel to this other video I made a couple months ago on the Roblox game we all know as Flag Wars that I decided to start playing shortly after that video was released. Actually, not really shortly after. I just sort of made that video to, like, document it, because obviously I played it before then, but whatever, you know what I mean. So in that video, I really talked about, like, my whole first impression of the game and what I thought. Had a lot of good things to say about it. I think my impression has very much shifted since then, and I kind of just wanted to make a little video to talk about that, as promised a couple videos ago. Anyways, to get you up to speed, really, this game is a capture the flag shooter game on Roblox. You pick a side, either red versus blue, and if you're on red, you fight the opposite color. You fight blue. If you're on blue, you fight red. Pretty standard for a team game, and what you gotta do is you gotta find the other team's flag, which is in the base. You gotta bring it back to your flag, which is in your base. So pretty much you gotta run across the whole map. Team that captures more flags wins. That's just really a brief rundown of the game there. You also gotta avoid getting shot by the other team. Overall, in the other video, I talked about how much I really admired this game for its simplicity. I still do. I think it's very well done for a Roblox game, at least compared to like what other Roblox games are. I find this game very, very entertaining and thrilling to play. But I did want to talk about it more, because obviously compared to my last video, I have way more experience than I previously did. I now have over 500 combined levels across both my accounts. So my main account, Opaque Tulip 6428, and my alt account, Opaque Tulip 64281, or Opaque Alt as the display name says. I'd also thought I'd give a little bit of advice for incoming new players, because the game has most definitely changed a little bit since we last talked about it in the previous video. Anyways, what I feel really like drew me to this game was because of how much I really picked it up at the beginning, and I think I'm still pretty half decent at it right now. Obviously, I am far from the best player in the whole game. Just like literally every other Roblox game, there's always going to be that one person who just grinds out and just dedicates their whole life to Roblox for some reason, of all things. But ever since the beginning, I really had it in the bag, and honestly for that, I'd say Mad City is the reason why. If you don't know what Mad City is, it's pretty much the Flag Wars before Flag Wars. And by that I mean like the game I played the most. I absolutely loved Mad City back in the day. It was like my go-to game for years. Until Season 2 came. Then it sort of started going downhill. And then once they like released the police officers that aren't, you know, actual players, it just sank for literally everybody. And basically the game lies in ruins now. Pretty much. I mean, I don't really think there are any major people playing this game anymore. It's mostly just people who are new to Roblox, and they only sign in once or twice. That's about it. Anyways, I made a whole other video covering that, so that's on screen right now if you want to go check that out. That's an image, that's so you know what to look for. But I talked about that a whole lot, and a lot of other people did too. Fun fact, actually, they finally released Chapter 1 as promised. It was just at the end of last month. But anyways, I'm going a little bit off topic. So, as a result of me, like, having so much power in this game, so much crazy skill, at least compared to the other players, maybe I'm not skillful, actually. Maybe all the other players just suck. I don't know. But there was definitely a big skill difference, as shown by, like, the tab menu in most games. While most players were still in the single digits for kills, I was, like, approaching 30 kills just at the start of the match. So, like, I was pretty crazy for some reason. And that's really what motivated me to keep playing a whole lot. And this was before they released the whole season system, so I don't think there were as many, like, crazy sweaty players in the game at the moment. Of course, I did meet a couple, and we'll talk a little bit more about them in a little bit. But overall, I just kept on smashing win after win after win. Maybe it gave me a little bit of an ego, I don't know. And keep in mind also, this was also without Robux items, except for VIP. I think VIP makes the game a lot more playable. What VIP does is VIP gives you access to a golden AK-47, which is very powerful, would recommend. But what I'd recommend even more over the alternative, which is offered to people who don't pay, which is the mining drill. The mining drill allows you to break through the dirt blocks at the bottom of every map that you need to break through to get to the enemy base. It allows you to break them super fast. At least compared to the shovel, which is super slow. And it makes the game very boring until you get jump scared by the other team, I guess, when they come digging towards you. I always find that like a very funny part of the match, when they're all digging their tunnels and you collide with each other. It's pretty fun to just shoot a grenade at them and do like massive splash damage. I just find that kind of stuff very satisfying. But anyways, with very minimal game passes, at least compared to other people, looking at this store right here, I was doing pretty solid, to say the least. And I did this really all through the summer, until summer ended, and then I'd say the next notable thing would probably be the addition of the seasons, which we'll talk about more, because that's really kind of what I want to focus on in this video. Overall, when Season 1 first dropped, it was laggy as heck. I was beginning to notice like noticeable frame drops, especially on certain types of maps, like Metro, because I'm guessing, I'm not a Roblox expert or anything with like performance and stuff, but I believe Metro lags a ton because of how many objects you need to render in there. Because Metro, unlike most of the other maps, this also has a lot of buildings, which means a lot of parts to render. And it's a very detailed map as well. Very well constructed, but definitely not easy on the frames. In addition to this, it's also a bigger map too, because whereas most maps have 2 floors only, the first floor being on the surface and being the place where you spawn, and the second one being where all the dirt blocks are that you need to break, this one actually has 3 layers. So the 2 I just mentioned, but in the middle of them you have a staircase that goes down that connects the top to the middle. And that is a room where the ladders are, which go down to the dirt block layer. But in this room also contains some trains that you also don't want to get hit by. So yeah, I'm not really sure if it's because of the amount of code for the trains and everything, or the buildings. It's probably the buildings and all the objects you need to render for this. It's a very well done map again, but well done maps, they tend to lag because they tend to have a lot of detail put into them. And Metro's really just one of them. I think Metro's like the most infamous example, but there were a couple maps that were just a little bit unbearable on the frames. However, not all the maps were bad, such as the classic castle. That's actually my favorite map of them all, because you can climb the towers and you can kill them. You can kill the other team from the other side without actually breaking any dirt blocks. It's not like you can capture the flag. I've seen a lot of people try to jump the wall and get killed on top of it. But it's still very fun to just shoot people from above and they wonder what's going on. And I kind of wish more maps would do that, but yeah, anyways, this map is super simplistic. It's literally just 2 floating platforms in air, but you don't know that. You're not supposed to know that, but I think it's pretty easy to break the immersion with this one. Pretty much 2 floating platforms with big walls, big castle walls surrounding it, so that way you don't fall off. And then you have the mandatory dirt block region below in the underground. Pretty simple stuff. And as a result, not a whole lot to render, which as a result means you get to keep your frames. So yeah, overall, Season 1, at first, really wasn't very optimized very well. In addition to this, I don't know what the developers were thinking here, but I am so glad they fixed this and optimized this. But the seasons, they add a whole new UI. And in this UI is a daily reward. So pretty much I think we all know what daily rewards are. You sign in every day, you get some coins. They give you a good pat on the back. But anyways, when I go to claim the daily reward, there's this confetti effect, which lagged the game so hard, I don't know why, but it brought the game from like 60 frames all the way to 5 frames, and it was very damaging for performance. That's like 55 frames gone there. Of course, it wasn't a permanent thing. It would only last a few seconds, but honestly, if you were like less experienced with computers, you might think the game's about to crash. And honestly, if you're on like a lower end PC, like a very low end, like a potato or something, that thing is crashing if you were trying to claim the daily reward. So no daily reward for you, unless you have a good enough PC. But anyways, this got fixed after I took a little bit of a break from the game to focus on other things, like more traditional Roblox games that I mainly focused on back in like my early days. But anyways, when it came back, it was all fixed. It was pretty nice. It's still slightly laggy, but not nearly as laggy as it is now. I think I lose like 5 frames at most. when I try to claim it. Overall, much more of an improvement. And according to this screenshot, this message sent by one of the developers, they are actually planning on improving performance even more with guns, which I don't know how that works, but I definitely like these gun models, and yeah, if it gives me frames, you know I'm all for it. But anyways, that really brings us to today. Unlike the Mad City video I made, I don't really have like years worth of history to go over with you, years worth of opaque tulip lore. But anyways, one of the biggest critiques I have for this game is not even with the game, it's with the people who grind it. There's just so many sweaty players in this game, so get ready for that if you're a new player. Would not suggest joining a server with any players in like triple digits for levels if you're just starting out the game, because the longer you play the game, the more event items you have. And earlier I talked a little bit about Robux items. Pretty much Robux items are obviously items you can purchase with Robux that are most definitely better than items you can purchase with raw cash that you earn in game. However, I'd say the tier above this tier, this already crazy tier, are the event items, which you need to earn, and they can only be earned at a certain time. And sometimes that certain time is like months in the past, making it limited. So yeah, I had a lot of fun when someone would just use an unknown weapon I've never heard of against me and just take me out in 2 seconds. I'm trying to figure out how to defend against it. But I feel like most event items, there is no weakness for these things. Like, there are just some event items that just blow even the Robux items, like, right out of the water. And I think, like, a great example of this would probably be the sword that can heal you. I don't know what it's called, because I was not playing in February when Valentine's Day is. I'm 99% sure that's when this came out, based on chat messages I've seen. But the healing sword is a sword that can heal you. And besides medkits, there aren't many things you can use to heal yourself except for natural regeneration. So this sword, it's not too fun to deal with, especially with how they decided to not nerf it after they took a vote along with many other items as shown on screen right here. And I feel like a big reason why this vote failed so badly is because the majority of the Discord server where this vote took place in is filled with like the crazy players who actually own this stuff and want it to keep it strong, really. So yeah, event items, pretty dangerous. You probably don't want to mess with them. Probably one of the best things you can do in this game is surprise attack. I think surprise attacking is probably very effective in battle, because with all the dirt blocks down underneath the ground, you can effectively create your own hiding spot. Unlike most Roblox PvP games or PvP games in general, you can change the map. There isn't a set amount of hiding spots, and you can make your own hiding spot. And personally, once you get the grenade launcher and or the minigun, I think surprise attacks are just super deadly in my opinion. Because both of these weapons will allow you to shred health, especially the minigun. And also I would most definitely recommend you prioritize getting these 2 items first if you are new to the game, in case that isn't already obvious to you. It doesn't matter how many event items they have, the event items are not going to save them from the barrage of bullets you send from behind, which I really enjoy doing, because it's fun sneaking behind enemy lines and creating like a secret tunnel in the underground, and then just shooting them from behind. It's very hard to tell which bullets came from your teammates and which bullets came from your enemy, especially in like that situation, because all the bullets look the same. So I have had multiple instances where I just take out the entire team without a scratch, really, because of this. So that's another tip for you. Just sneak on over to the enemy side, and if you want some free kills, just go behind them and shoot like in the same direction they're shooting from behind, really, if that makes sense. It's surprisingly effective. Unless there's a player with 700 levels devoted their whole life to this game, and from that has developed mind powers and just knows it's an enemy, then I'd say this is a pretty effective tactic to use. Anyways, focusing more on like the very beginning of the game, you start off with a standard automatic rifle that I can't remember the name of, and a sniper. The sniper is extremely OP at the time this is being recorded. I'm not really sure if they'll ever nerf it. There's been no talk about that, but the sniper does 50 damage and 100 damage if you land a headshot, and this is regardless of whether you scope or not. Would probably recommend you use the sniper for sniping, but You could also probably use it as something similar to a shotgun in close range, I guess. Because that's 50 damage you can do. And it has 2 bullets in the chamber. So if you know what you're doing and you have good aim, you can shoot the thing twice and you can kill someone in a matter of seconds. It only works with one person, but I'd say this is a pretty effective tactic. As much as I dislike it, I personally think the sniper should, you know, be more effective for sniping. Personally, what I'd like to see in the game is a mechanic where the farther away the shooter is, the more damage the sniper does. So if you shoot someone from all the way across the map, it'll do 100 damage, but if you're like right next to you and you hit them, then it isn't gonna do much. It's gonna do like 5 damage at most. So I kind of want the game to reward like range and good aim with that weapon, but I guess that's just me. My opinion is barely relevant compared to the rest of the Flag Wars community. Probably the biggest thing I'd recommend to new players with this game is to just never give up with it, okay? Just keep at it, because like most Roblox games, this game rewards you based on how often you play and how much like cash you can make, because there's no way you're getting 65,000 cash in one sitting. Just keep coming back, really, and even if you lose the match, chances are I bet you'll kill at least like one person, which will reward you cash, which can go to getting more and improved weapons, really, which will give you better shots at winning in the future. So pretty much the more you play, in a way, if you think about it, the more you will be able to get more cash. And if you think about it, I made my first video when I first began playing, when my level was like in the teens, just a couple months ago, and now I sit with over 300 levels on my main account only, and 1.3 million cash on there as well. So just 2 months of grinding, which in my opinion is pretty short amount of time, at least compared to other games I played like Mad City. Like getting 20 million cash in Mad City, that took years. Especially as a cop, which if you played Mad City in the past, you'll know that being a criminal is by far the most effective way to get money. And obviously when I say that, not every single dollar I made was made from being a cop. I feel like the majority of it was made from being a cop. Probably like 11 million at least. But I'm going a little off topic. Just keep playing the game, okay? And if there's like a sweaty player online that you just don't feel like dealing with, just server hop and find a good server. And by a good server, I'd probably mean like the highest level is like 50 at most. Of course, you probably might want to be careful of alt accounts as well, because I obviously have one, and I'm obviously not the only one in possession of an alt account. So if you notice a player that's like level 10 that's suspiciously good at aiming the sniper, like I encountered one time, that probably means that it's an alt account of like a crazy player who just loves Flag Wars, I guess. Just has nothing better to do with their life. Anyways, yeah, I would still most definitely recommend this game to you, despite its problems that I am realizing that I'm slowly becoming aware of, but yeah, I'll link it in the description again. And additionally, if you'd like to join me in this game, my Roblox joins are always on. You can join me through Discord, because I have Blockstrap, and through the Roblox site itself. That's all I've really got to say. If you enjoyed what you heard, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.